not everybody likes to sing. Personally, I'm one of those people who's happy to sing in a group, but unless I'm in the shower, I'd rather not sing a solo, because I figure there's enough suffering in the world. But I know that at church especially, it is my job to sing, as it is for each person here, because this is not private prayer, this is common prayer. And not only am I opened up when I sing, I help support those next to me who might, want to sing but be shy if there's no one singing around them. It's our job to pray by song as well. And a lot of work goes into the preparation of music, not only the practicing that our wonderful choirs do, but even the selections of music. If you were to page through the hymnals, you'll notice that there are all different themes of music. Heavy themes like sin and death, and hopeful themes, and encouraging themes, and challenging themes. There are also songs for different seasons and special occasions. And whatever the kind of voice God has given you, God deserves to hear that. If you have a beautiful voice, God deserves to hear that. If your voice stinks, it's God's fault. God deserves to hear that. Yeah. But certainly it is the job of each of us to sing. But even if you refuse to move your mouth in song, your life still sings. I believe that for each of us, there is like a soundtrack to our lives that we are creating by how we live. And even as the soundtrack of a movie helps interpret and present the movie, so does the music, the soundtrack of our lives. If I were to ask you this, what is the music that represents the soundtrack of your life? What would you say? I mean, I know that any soundtrack has different music woven into it, and even as that would be true of our lives, but there becomes an overall theme. And what does the soundtrack to your life sound like? I think some people don't even realize that we have one. And I think others might think that, well, this is what my life sounds like, this is what my soundtrack is, but what others hear is altogether different. I suggest that there are some here this day whose life's soundtrack sounds like this.
Nobody knows the trouble I've seen. Nobody knows but Jesus.
Sound like anybody you know? Or maybe, is that what you sound like without realizing it? And there are others who maybe like to think of themselves as kind of a subtle, behind-the-scenes person. But the soundtrack of your life sounds more like this. Subtle, like the 1812 overture, right? And many of us perhaps get caught up in really the materialism or consumerism of our culture. And without even realizing it, the anthem to which we march, the same anthem that you might recall I've had to work with Big Al to make sure it doesn't become his soundtrack, is this. sure and tell your grandkids if you get a chance that you were listening to Queen at Mass today. And there are others who maybe don't consciously choose this, but who find relationship too hard. Maybe you've been hurt and you don't want to get hurt again. Or maybe it's just too much work. And so without even realizing it, the soundtrack of your life sounds a lot like this from Simon and Garfunkel.
I have no need of friendship. Friendship causes pain. It's laughter and it's loving I disdain. I am a rock. I am an island.
You might have trouble getting tickets for her alter ego, but Miley Cyrus sings a song that might capture the aspirations of some here.
I might even be a rock star. If you only knew the real me, I might even be a rock star. I'm telling you that we are meant to be. That wouldn't it be nice if you could see that I really am a rock star?
Don't you want to be like Hannah Montana when you grow up? And there are others here whose lives are lives of humble service. And certainly part of the soundtrack of your life must sound like this. Others see the world as competition. There are winners and losers, and we have the right to get in your face.
Singing, we will rock you. We will rock you.
And finally, and while I'm sure there are other selections that are possible to represent the soundtrack of our lives, there are others, and maybe you know them. The beauty of the music of their lives helps bring out the beauty of the music of our own lives. There's a peace underneath the pain, a sweetness to how they live. My brothers and sisters, the truth is that this very moment, you and I are creating the soundtrack of our own lives. And it's no one else's responsibility but our own, the kind of soundtrack, the sounds that come from our lives. And I say that because I know people whose lives have been heartache. They've known suffering, as has everyone, and they go around their entire life singing, "No one knows the suffering I've known." And there are others who suffered at least as much, but that's not the soundtrack they've chosen. While not to deny the pain that's a part of their lives, you see in them joy and hope. And even their pain has become a part of the beauty of what you hear and how they live. I don't know what the soundtrack of your life is right now. Maybe you're not singing what God calls your life to sound like. Maybe you're not even singing what you want to sing. But the promise that comes in the psalm we heard today, Psalm 40, is that God wants to give us a new song. And God can put a new song on our lips. And if we're willing to let God, if what we're singing in the reality of our lives is not what we're called to sing or want to sing, God can put a new song on our lips. I don't know if you've ever been at the bedside of someone who was dying, when the family and friends gathered, sang that person into the next life. That's a beautiful thing to see. And how about you or me when we die? If there are people gathered around to sing us into the next world, is what we want them to sing to us the song that we're singing now by our lives? And if I'm blessed to be at your bedside when you're dying and we sing, what is it that you would want to hear sung in your ear as you moved from this world to the next? Is whatever that is the song that you're singing now by your life? If not, now is the time to begin to sing a new song in the power of God. Because even now, we are creating the soundtrack of our lives. Whatever your soundtrack, I hope it's beautiful. If not, now is the time to begin to sing a new song with your life. Hello. Oh, thank you. Hello, buddy. Well, if I were to ask you how you are doing, what would you say? Show you. You want to show me? Okay. Well, how are you doing? Ready. I'm ready. You're going to tell me how you're doing. I forgot to rewind it. Oh, sorry. Nobody knows the troubles I see, troubles I see, troubles I see. Yeah, Big Al, you have such a hard life. Now, what are you complaining about now? It's cold. It's cold. Oh, dude. Welcome to planet Earth. Yeah, dude. Big Al, I worry that might be becoming your theme song. Life's hard. I know life's hard sometimes. And it's okay if you cry sometimes, and nobody goes through life like singing a happy song all the time, but we've got to make sure that the main song of our lives is happy, Big Al, that we show joy. Because in the big scheme of things, there's much more reason for joy than not. And if you want to look for stuff to be crabby about, you'll find it. I think I will. Bye. No. I'll bet he will. And boys and girls, it's true. If you want to go through life looking for stuff to be crabby about, you can find it. I wonder what the song of your life sounds like. Is your life a crabby song? Is your life a grateful song? A selfish song? A loving song? Each of us is responsible for the song of our lives.